Hey everyone, I welcome you all on behalf of IEEE Student Branch VIT Pune to the third video of our new playlist called First Step Towards Coding. The title of today's video is Roadmap to Web Development. As it is quite evident from the name itself that in today's video we are going to get equipped with everything about web development. So let's get started. Let's first see the agenda of today's video. First of all, we are going to learn what exactly is web development. Then we are going to see front-end and back-end part of web development. Then we will see the roadmap to front-end, and then the same thing goes with back-end. Then we'll learn about databases, and then finally we'll see how you can host your website. So let's dive into the content now. Web development, or we can say website development, refers to building, creating and maintaining websites, as the name itself suggests. Website development includes various aspects. But first we need to understand that in a website there are basically two parts. First part is the static websites, and these are the ones that are fixed and display the same content for every user. And the dynamic website. This website is the one that can display different content and provide user interaction by making use of advanced programming languages. So, as I said, any website development includes various aspects such as web designing, web publishing, web programming, and database management systems. So, in web designing, we design the front-end part of any website which is visible to the user. Anything that you see by your eyes is the front end of the website. Web publishing includes the hosting of the website. In web programming, we program the dynamic part of the website, and we store all the information related to any website in the databases. We can say that websites are nothing but just a bunch of files with various extensions like HTML, CSS or JavaScript, and these files are stored on a computer called server. This server is connected to the internet, and that's why we can open any website on our browsers. We can load a website through a browser like Chrome, Firefox or Safari on our computer or on our phone. In this situation, the browser is also known as the client. Having done with the definition of web development, let's now understand what exactly are front-end and back-end. Front-end is the part of a website that the user interacts with directly. Whatever we see on a website like the text colors, the styles, images, graphs, tables, buttons, navigation menu, drop-down menus, etc. are brought together by the front end of a website. The front end of a website is also known as the client side. It is a series of programs which are written to bind and structure the elements and make them look good and add interactivity. These programs are run through a browser. This was the basic definition of front end, and let's now see the definition of back end. So back end of a website is the server side of the website. It stores and arranges data and also makes sure everything on the client side of the website works fine. It consists of the server that hosts the website, an application for running it, and a database to contain all the information that is related to that particular website. In the backend, the computer programs are used to ensure that the server, the application, as well as the database run smoothly together. So this was all about the front end and back end part of a website, and now we can move ahead with the roadmap to front end. So every web developer must have a basic understanding of HTML, CSS and JS. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and JS stands for JavaScript. Any front-end code is written in HTML, and to provide certain styles to that particular code, we use CSS. And to make that code more interactive, we use JavaScript. Once we are done with these three things, we can dig deeper, and it is time to learn various other things like HTML DOM, then Google Maps, Google Fonts, and Google Charts. All of these things are going to make our website more interactive in more number of ways than we can ever imagine. Then in CSS, we should learn CSS, how to make CSS responsive and how to add CSS icons. To make CSS responsive means that once you open a website in a phone or you open it in a web browser, it should look same. And when it comes to JavaScript, we should learn how to use XML, AJAX and JSON for making server requests. Having done with the basics of front end, now it's time to choose a proper framework for everything. Let's first understand what a framework is. A framework or software framework is a platform for developing software applications. It provides the foundation on which software developers can build programs for a specific platform. It may also include code libraries, a compiler, and other programs used in the software development process. So we can choose different frameworks for these different things. For CSS, we can choose Bootstrap. For JavaScript, we have frameworks like jQuery, AngularJS, Vue.js, etc. And for XML, we have frameworks like XSLT, XPath, and XQuery. So we can serve more about these frameworks and we can choose whichever we want to from these ones. This was all about front end part of a website and what we need to learn in order to develop a proper functional front end. So now we can move ahead with the roadmap to backend. In order to develop the backend of any website, we can use various languages. I have listed some of them here. So there are many choices to develop your web application. But in recent years, Node.js has come up as the preferred option. The best thing about Node.js is that it allows you to develop a complete web application using just one programming language, that is JavaScript. So if you want to go ahead with Node.js, I'll suggest you to go with this course called the Complete Node.js Developer Course by Rob Percival and Andrew Mid. It is a very good course about Node.js which will get you fully equipped with this particular backend platform. Moving ahead, we can talk about another language in which we can develop our backend, which is called Java. So talking about Java, we have two options. We can either go with core Java or we can go with Java plus Spring Boot to write a cutting-edge, high-performance backend. If you want to go with Java and Spring Boot, here are a couple of courses you can join to get up to speed. First one is the Complete Java Masterclass and the second one is Spring Framework 5 Beginner to Guru. Talking about the third language, which is Python, it is a very important and awesome language full of powerful frameworks and libraries. If you want to develop backend using Python, then you can use Django. It is a full stack web development framework for Python programmers. To start with Django, I have listed two courses here. First one is the Complete Python Bootcamp and the second one is Python and Django Full Stack Web Developer Bootcamp. There are another languages using which we can learn backend. So there are Ruby and PHP. Ruby is another powerful language perfect for web development. It has got a great framework called Rails, which makes creating web applications really easy and fast. So if you want to get started with Ruby, you can check out the Complete Ruby on Rails Developer course on Udemy. It will get you completely equipped with this particular language. And talking about PHP, PHP is one of the oldest language that is being used for the development of backend of any website. So with PHP, we use a database called MySQL. PHP and MySQL go hand in hand, and PHP can be very effective to develop the backend of your website because 50% of the internet runs on PHP and MySQL stack. So if you are interested in learning PHP, you can go with this course called PHP for Beginners. It is available on Udemy, so go and check it out. Now let's learn about databases which are going to be used to store information related to your website. So basically there are two types of databases. First one is relational and second one is non-relational. Relational database is structured, that is, the data is organized in tables. Many times the data within these tables have relationships with each other or dependencies, we can say. Whereas a non-relational database is document oriented, meaning all the information gets stored in more of a laundry list order. So when we talk about relational databases, there are two types of it. First one is MySQL and second one is PostgreSQL. So as I said, MySQL is used with PHP and we can also use PostgreSQL with PHP. When we talk about non-relational databases, again there are two of them. First one is MongoDB and second one is CouchDB. But it is very important to remember that we should only focus on one database at a time. As I said, PHP and MySQL are used together, whereas if you are going with Node.js, then you have to go with MongoDB as a database. You can't use MySQL with Node.js or you can't use MongoDB with PHP. So it is very important to choose your language for the backend as well as your database wisely, so that you be comfortable while developing whatever website you are making. So this was all about the backend and databases part of a website. And now let's move to the final part, that is hosting of your website. The concept of web hosting is pretty straightforward. Your website lives on a server. A web hosting provider maintains the server and technology needed to connect your site to the internet. And when an internet user wants to visit your website, they simply type your domain name or web address into their browser. Now their device connects with the server and your pages are delivered to the user. Hosting a website is not at all complicated, and that's why I have listed some of these steps that you can use in order to host your website. So the first step is to research web hosting providers. There are various web hosting providers that are going to provide you a platform in order to host your website, and they specialize in various fields like speed, etc., while others prioritize customer service too. Some providers are best for small business websites and others are best for agencies or enterprises. You should know what you are looking for and you should search your web hosting provider wisely. Now moving towards the next step, it is very important to determine your budget. Having a rough idea of what you are willing and able to spend will at least help you narrow down your options, and it is going to be of great help talking about long term. Then the third step comes, which is to choose a hosting type. There are various hosting types like shared hosting, VPS hosting, dedicated hosting, or you can say cloud hosting. So we can see that there were 4 types of hosting, and we should choose our type very wisely depending upon the type of our website and our needs. So this was the third step, and talking about the fourth step, it is the step of selecting your hosting plan. Find a provider that offers the type of web hosting option you need at a price point that's within your budget. You'll likely have at least a couple of choices that fit this description. So there are going to be various hosting plans like uptime hosting, resources, or customer support. So you can go with any of them depending upon the type of your website and your needs. You can research on the hosting plan and choose them wisely. And the last and final step is to register your domain name. The domain name of your website is your digital address. The user is going to type this particular address in the web browser, and that is how he or she is going to get directed to your website. I included this step last because you can potentially register your domain name from your hosting provider when you sign up for a hosting plan. Sometimes this will even come free depending on the plan and provider you go with. But with that said, you can register your domain name elsewhere before you settle on a plan. So this is how you host your website. And web development holds a lot of opportunities, so you can get started with web development with the help of this video. We have covered everything right from the front end to the back end to the database and then finally to hosting your website. So yeah, that's it. This was all about today's video, guys. If you liked the video, then please hit the like button and do not forget to subscribe in order to receive notifications about more such amazing content. Thank you so much.